just looked over what was called No Doubt, Don't Speak, and then what was called No Doubt, Just a Girl, and then what was called Paul Oakenfold, Starry-Eyed Surprise. With a critical eye and having covered in the last video, the type of stuff that was important to cover. To look at stuff like that, even though I could have looked at stuff like that quite a while ago. To again make valid and accurate arguments against what are essentially three raspberries. In many ways, in so many ways. Again, it chimes with the. It's pretty much what I sussed out when I was writing what I saw as the amalgam, what I now call the amalgam, being prepared by the architects back then. And it's sort of those three films, and it shows how far back this goes, how much preparation was put into things, and how much which was of the time, much excessive. Well, was it of the time? No, I'd say it was more of those characters, of those people. The original architects. This excessively sentimental haliography that they had. There's nothing wrong with getting stressed out. There's nothing wrong with having emotions. There's nothing wrong with goes through strife. But when you apply this excessively sentimental haliography to people, and that was the state of the debate around things like psychiatry and psychology at the time. That was the mood of the time of '96 and subsequent years. Like I say, it really is excessively sentimental haliography. People could argue they cared, but you've got to care about things. And like I've argued before, you've got to have a critical awareness of that was lacking from all sorts of people back then, politicians, scientists, and so on and so forth. Which the amalgam, which the subject identified pretty, in some ways, quite accurately. But yeah, again, it's pretty much essentially some of the stuff were things that I figured out way back in '96. With those 4 individuals, and how they'd go off on one. And in subsequent years, and one of them came around my house and tried all type of stuff that I saw. Modded those videos. Yeah, it's a pretty null argument. But yeah, that's how carried away people were. So yeah, excessively sentimental hagiography leads to hyperbole and heightened emotions and so on and so forth. You get in the lead up to my direct involvement with the psychiatrists and so on and so forth. The pharmacological, like I've said countless times, I was never going to be allowed to think about that stuff as I would. And as they brought me in and said we're trying to help and so on and so forth. And yeah, now people are trying to find a solution. But like I said, it's a natural process to look back and make valid and accurate comment about what I've just seen. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, as I've said, when that process was going on of the pharmacological stuff and she's dead and all that type of thing and the argument being put, I didn't just see gaps. I saw chasms in the argument being put. But I had to, I was put through it. And it really does, I suppose, boil down to the heightened emotions and the excessively sentimental hagiography of those 4 people, especially the two core people who were portrayed in pretty unrealistic ways, very unrealistic ways, but that's the way it is, and it's important to go over that, I think, in the process of framing the past 24, 28 years as the Amalgam Adventure, as part of the approach to of approaching the root of things like Brian Washington and all that stuff that makes up the Amalgam Adventure. So yeah. I'd say my what I wrote in '96 and my flash animation, my film was better art and science than what I've just seen. Those 3 examples. I could go over others and make valid and accurate comment. Natural process to look over this stuff. But it's also a natural process to think of other stuff as well and look over other stuff. For example, like I've said, Hannah and Her Sisters and Being There, 2 really important films for me. to start to really uh, uh, yeah, deal with this, start to really deal with this amalgam adventure. But yeah, yeah, so much preparation, so many plans, and all the rest of it that went up to my direct involvement with psychiatric services. But yeah, going back, I think it was 98 when that one individual came round my house and yeah, and I don't know. It's important stuff, I think. It's important to look back and see that stuff for what it was in many ways. But yeah, like I said, I pretty much just the majority of it in '96, as was evident in what I wrote and so on. And people trying to sort of narrow my options to, again, a choice of extremes like that, in that sort of process that started with those people. As I've said before, life's richer than that, life's more complex than that, life's more enjoyable than that, life can be more serious than that, and the titillation and that it was an offshoot of, as I keep saying, excessively sentimental hagiography. Really really threw a spanner in the works for people, and they've been obsessed ever since. But yeah, I don't know what to call this video. I don't know. No, in many ways, life's simpler than that as well. There weren't. I don't think it was just reasons for. I don't really see the point in making too many allowances for their behaviour. They just got carried away, really carried away, and you know. Yeah. And yeah, the arguments I've just seen put. I did see the essentials, the essential argument for what it, as it was being as it would have been made by those people, with the way, the type of people they were, and yeah. Anyway, it's natural, like I say, to go over such things, to go over more enjoyable things instead of is that the right word to use? I don't know. But anyway, the no wonder. Yeah. I mentioned yesterday around the flat how what was then still and still possibly is in some ways the amalgam adventure. How people there would be going crazy and then reassured, and why it was important. I've gone over in the last was it the last video? I'm talking about it yesterday. How important it was for me to remove that that technique that was originally put into place all those years ago to try to give me and give the subject, the amalgam, excessive worry, which I occasionally experienced. But yeah, like I said, valid and accurate comment. I haven't picked those things apart as much as I could. Those films, those arguments, pretty much had them sus way back in '96 and in subsequent years. But yeah, I did say it quite early stage. It was important for me to have my be cognizant of the world around me, and to be able to go over arguments like that in a balanced frame of mind, to see them for what they were, but also to see why, for example, the people on the last hospital ward I was on, or was, well, the amalgam or whatever, why they were veering from one extreme to another, as they tried to get me to, as one of the things that are attempted to try and get me thinking that the type of things I do that I do around the flat. For example, to try to get me thinking that the stuff I do around the flat has great meaning. A meaning that isn't there. I think it's important to resolve that. And I've pretty much done that now. So yeah, I could go over other things to do with it. To do with the arguments being put in those things, but like I said, far more important as well, I think, to think of films like Hannah and Her Sisters, being there, and stuff like that. They're going over stuff that, really, do I need to do that? I essentially had the argument won in '96, knowing where they'd, what type of argument they'd put. and that excessively sentimental hagiography and is not the way to go. Because then you have the process of a guy coming around my flat, my house, back in '98, I think it was. And then, like I said, he was so consumed with his hagiography and a approach to seeing the world that was influenced too much by a certain Hollywood mindset, to use a metaphor, to use it's not so much a metaphor. It's the guy did have a tendency but that went into the stratosphere with his girlfriend, and then the excessively sentimental hagiography. That consumes so many people. That has consumed and continues, maybe, to consume so many people. No, I don't think it does anymore. Yeah, like I said, valid and accurate comment to point this stuff out. But also valid and accurate to and more important, maybe, to have a diverse range of interests and including a sense of humour, like I said. But yeah, to be able, once I got stressed out, it's, like I said, it's okay to get stressed out about stuff. Like I was, as I've said countless times, when they first hauled me onto a psychiatric ward. Anyway, yeah. So they were in a state of emergency back then. Got to that state via, as I say, excessively sentimental hagiography I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. yeah, it's going to take a bit of time to. I can do that for myself. I can characterise the Amalgam Adventure as it should easily be characterised. But it's going to take, my guess is it's going to take other people a while to actually be able to do that. I did mention in the last video that I was given a drug in, that I saw, what it was trying to bring off or avert. But anyway, like I said, valid and accurate comment. Natural processes to go through in a situation like this, and then once you've looked at stuff and assessed it and even though I didn't need to, I'd already pretty much, like I said, a long time ago, I saw the essential argument being made, and but anyway, yeah, no, like I said, conventionality, level-headedness and groundedness. And remove that ill-advised move that was made to try to give me excessive worry. That's that for now.